But before I start, I would like to say thanks to Ms. Sunny Yang for joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of our first ever talk show series. And I would like to share a little bit more about Power to Change. Power to Change is about finding your purpose, working towards that purpose, and a group of internationals and local students came together to work towards making Power to Change a bigger and a better organization. Power to Change is an organization that is taking an initiative to work with the government and financial institutions to promote consumers to digitize bank bills, thus saving the cost of sending paper bills and cutting down trees. The cost saved will be used to solve the issues of energy poverty matters that faced by most of low-income families. It will also subsidize the energy poor households to install energy-saving LED lamps in their homes. This will not only save electricity costs, but also improve the quality of living and bringing light and hope all over Taiwan. We have been doing this through different modules. The first one is by doing educational outreach programs through presentations at schools and at different places where we're invited. And due to COVID-19, we have also been doing this through social media platforms like online segments and so forth. We have also been doing this by educational outreach programs at setting up booths all over Taiwan at IKEA or at supermarkets, planting trees all over Taiwan, taking part in different educational and outreach program all over Taiwan. We have also been doing this through social media platforms by engaging our teams from north to south and from east to west, coming together by informing our online viewers and getting them active and involved by helping us sign our surveys about fighting towards helping Power to Change. We have been doing this through social media, outreach, and online programs. And without further ado, I would like to welcome Ms. Sunny Yang, the CEO of City Wonder. But before I welcome Ms. Sunny Yang, I would like to say a little bit about her. Ms. Sunny Yang is an educator with the soul of a backpacker. After being born and raised in Taiwan for 17 years, she went back abroad to the US for 10 years, eventually bringing the education dream back to Taiwan. Seeking the change of education landscape in her home country, through her own experience, she realized that journeying to wonder is the best way to encounter yourself and find your way back to who you are. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Miss City Wonder. Thank you so much, Miss Sunny Yang.
Hi, yes. Hi, everyone. It's great to see everyone here. Let me share my screen over here. Okay. And thank you, Annalie, for the kind introduction. Okay, can everyone see?
Yes.
Okay, for sure. Then let me start. Yes, I don't have a lot of time today. I really love having any opportunity to share with everyone. So today I'll take like short 10-ish minutes to talk a little bit about me and City Wonder, and then later on there's this question panel part where you can post questions that you have as well. So let me start with me. I know I heard about what Power to Change is about and how it wants to inspire people to find their purpose. This is exactly what City Wonder does, and also made me want to share how I found my purpose, which is in education. So I, like Annalie mentioned, I went to the States for college, and when I was in college, in my second year of college, I was in the library reading this book on the right that you see. It's a civil rights movement book talking about, you know, the 1960s in the US. The whole book, it was a textbook. I was studying sociology, so it was a textbook, 300 or so pages, a huge book, and at the time there were 2 pages that I read for 1 hour. And the reason why I had to read it for 1 hour wasn't because that my English was bad. It wasn't that good at that time, but it was because those 2 pages, the whole book was talking about civil rights movement and how Black people voice for their rights and asking the white people, the white community to do something. But two pages in there, it was talking about a school. Someone started a school called the Highlander Folk School. And in this school, the principal basically gathered all these, Black community who were at the time still you would call slaves at that time, gathered them around and asked them with very, very sharp questions saying, hey, do you think if you're just sitting here and doing nothing, just doing your job well, that one day, but you don't do anything else, you're just doing your job well, then one day white community would just, have an epiphany, some lightning strike their head and realize, oh my God, we are not treating these people right. And so we're going to change. No, that's not going to happen. So he used these type of sharp questions to basically stimulate the Black community to think about, hey, if I just sit around here doing nothing and not voice for myself, then nothing's going to happen. I can't just expect miracle to happen and for things to change. And so those 2 pages, when I was reading it and how the philosophy of this principal who was trying to, use these questions, it's called pedagogy, it's called critical pedagogy, the type of philosophy that he was doing. And so basically when I was reading these 2 pages, every single paragraph, when I read a paragraph, I started, my eyes started to water up. I wanted to cry. And I was in the library and I felt very embarrassed because how when you're in the library, everyone is in the library and in front of you, there's people and behind you, there's people and people sitting next to you, to the right, to the left. And so I was, okay, sorry, I was just checking the message. Okay, so I was very embarrassed because who cries in the library? And who cries when you're reading a textbook? So I just felt like, no, I can't let myself cry. So whenever I started wanting to cry, I looked outside the window for a few seconds and tried to blink really hard to make the tears go back. And then after I realized, okay, after I found that I could control my tears, then I come back and I read the second paragraph. And then I wanted to cry again. So I had to look out the window and blink again to hold it back and then come back to the next paragraph. So that process repeated for a long time, and that's why those 2 pages took me an hour to read. After that 1 hour, I left the library. This was the picture on the right was the little circle plaza that was in front of the library. And I went outside the library. I was very confused. I thought, hey, why did I have this weird reaction? And I saw a friend. So I asked her, hey, I told her, hey, something weird just happened. I was reading a textbook and then there's I kept wanting to cry. And then she told me something that changed my whole life. She told me, hey, Sunny, don't you realize that's where your passion is? You're passionate about education. And then what she said really just made, there's this lightning in my head, in my brain. It's like, oh my God, it clicked, everything clicked. And in that moment, I realized, yes, it is so true. Education is my passion. That's why I went to the States to join the school, and everything in my life made sense. And I realized, oh my God, I found my passion. And I was so excited about the fact that I found my passion that I started jumping up and down, literally at that moment in that plaza. I jumped up and down and ran around talking to, I said thank you to that friend. And then I went around to all these people who I knew, I did not know or whatever. And I just talked to them and I told them, hey guys, I found my passion. I found my passion in education. And so, it was crazy, but it was literally what I did. And out from that moment onward, I realized, okay, if I want to do education, then I need to get myself into the field. I was studying sociology. My school didn't have a education major, but I started doing interns for some different educational summer camps, and then later on, after I graduated from college, I went to do a Teach for America experience, and I became a teacher inside the classroom in the U.S., teaching Black and Hispanic, a lot of disadvantaged kids in the U.S. And after my 2 years in Teach for America, I joined another organization called Thrival Academy, and that was an innovative educational startup where we took 20 students to Thailand, 20 students from the United States to Thailand for 3 months for some cultural, experiential, innovative projects and learning. And that was also something that really sparked my further creativity in this, how educational can be different. And then after that, I came back to Taiwan in 2018 and joined City Wanderer. A lot of people would ask me, why did I come back and join City Wanderer? That's another story for another time. I don't have a lot of time today. Then I joined City Wanderer and started this journey. That's why I'm here today, to share with you what City Wanderer is doing. And so now the second part, to tell you what is City Wanderer doing. It has a lot to do with what I said about my own journey. City Wanderer's why, our mission is to create a challenging and meaningful experience to cultivate wandering spirit. What kind of wandering spirit? For young people to explore their purpose in the world, engage in their self-dialogue, and develop ability to pursue their belief. So this vision is, we want to create a vision where every young person, every youth could come alive pursuing what they believe in. So what does that mean? And what problem are we trying to solve? All these, we are a nonprofit organization. So what is this nonprofit organization trying to solve? Basically, what we try to do is, solve is a Taiwanese education problem. In Taiwan, I don't know how many of you have a lot of Taiwanese friends, but if you have talked to Taiwanese students a lot, then you would know that the traditional Taiwanese education system is very much high testing pressure and very much based on memory and testing. And so throughout the whole, their whole high school or even college timeline or career, they didn't have a lot of time to figure out who they are, what they're passionate about, what they might want to do in the world, and what does the society, what does the world need? A lot of times we as Taiwanese students, we stay inside the classroom so much that we don't have any idea what the world or what the society is what kind of issue is happening in these worlds, and how we might be able to create any change. And so so once we realize this problem, what we try to do is to solve this problem. And how we're trying to solve it is through a Wandering Challenge is an activity that we started back in 2013. And basically 3 people form a team, and over the span of 3 weeks, we give these students 30 missions to go around in the city and complete these 30 missions to discover a new self and learn about themselves and learn about the world. So these missions, there are some mission examples that I would give. For example, Dreamers Megaphone is for people to, for example, if I ask you to do Dreamers Megaphone, I will give you a billboard and ask you to write your dream on this billboard. For example, I want to be a teacher, or I want to go to France and learn about cooking, become a chef or something. Write your dream on there, and then go to somewhere with a lot of people, like a plaza or train station, Taipei main station, something like that, and shout it out loud to the passengers, the pedestrians and the passerby, and ask them to sign your board and witness, maybe even give you some feedback about your dream. So you could imagine that is something quite difficult and needs a lot of courage. So through these type of missions, we train young people's courage to face the public, and also to encounter difficulty, but at the same time, figure out, hey, there are a lot of people, learn about themselves and figure out there are a lot of people who can give them different feedback and people outside of their comfort zone who has different experiences that could share with them. So Dreamers Megaphone is one. Another one is a $0 trip, for example, asking you to design a full day trip outside of your city without spending a dime. So without spending any money, you have to figure out whether you're walking or you're hitchhiking or some other way. And some other missions, for example, asking you to write a letter to your parents and read it to them, read the whole thing to them in person or over the phone. And then last one, Story of the Homeless, is asking you to prepare a meal for a homeless person, not just give them the meal, but sit down right next to them and exchange your life story with the homeless person. And that would create more empathy, learning about how the world actually works from a true person's perspective instead of what you might all see in on the media and what social media tells you that these people are with the stigma and stereotypes saying that they are lazy, they are dangerous, they are dirty, and all these things. So because of time, I am not going to tell you a story about hitchhiking, and so I want to tell you more about our four different dimensions of our missions are based on what we believe we want to help young people reflect. Self-awareness is about reflect on their passion and their purpose, who they are, what they might want, and what they might want to do in the future. And then the $0 trip with adventure challenge is more about perseverance and trying to solve problem and growth mindset. And connection rebuilding, the letter to parents, is about building communication and relationship. And then the homeless mission is about building global citizenship and empathy. So in the past few, from 2013 all the way until now, we have brought this Wondering Challenge all the way to 5 different countries already. So here in Taiwan, but in 2019, we brought it to Japan, 2 cities in Japan, 2 cities in Malaysia, 2 cities in China and Hong Kong. And in Taiwan, 14 different cities have held this Wondering Challenge already, accomplishing a lot of different missions and reaching a lot of people. So this picture on the right, on the left, is Japanese students creating their own mission that are meaningful about water resources, and then there are some pictures about Chinese students and then Taiwanese students. And we also measure their growth to see if after their missions, they grew in what we believe their self-awareness, they grew in their courage and all these things. And more importantly, students realize that they play a role in the society. A lot of times after they did their mission, they would post it. For example, after they talked to the homeless person, they would post a reflection about, hey, I talked to Mr. So-and-so today, and what I learned about his story really impressed me and changed my mind about a lot of things. And that would create more ripple effect of their friends commenting below. It's wow, that's so cool, what we want to do something like that later as well. And so they would go out and actually give out drinks, hot drinks and food to homeless people as well. So that creates impact. And a lot of people after our Wondering Challenge, they went out and continued to search for their path of purpose, joined different nonprofit organizations, or started different ones as well. And this led us to some kind of recognition in Taiwan and across the world, including one in Finland for top 100 education innovation. And so lastly, I just want to leave with you that what City Wanderer believes is not all who wander are lost. A lot of times it is through wandering and through figuring out, through wandering and not sure about what our path in front look like, but we have enough courage to go through it that we figure out our way. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Sunny, for such a very inspirational message. I didn't know, we had so many different ways where we can interact with, you know, the younger generation about finding their purpose and going out and like testing them, you know, like you need to do this in order to, you know, find your purpose. You need to go beyond your fears. So now we will go into our question and answer segment for Miss Sunny. My first question to you, Miss Sunny, is what's the best part of working at City Wonder, and what's your day-to-day responsibilities like?
Okay, I'll go with the boring one first. The day-to-day, the day-to-day, a lot of times is even if I am doing, even if I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, not every day is gonna be, you know, like, oh, everything that I'm doing is so sparkling and everything. So my day-to-day, because right now I'm CEO. So when I joined City Wanderer in 2018, I was in charge of Wandering Challenge. And so I was, you know, designing Wandering Challenge with a lot of the missions and a lot of the structure behind it. And now as a CEO, there are a lot more back end work that I have to do. So my day to day has a lot to do with thinking about strategies for the organization in the future, and helping the staff of City Wanderer to solve different issues, and also a lot of times some administrative things when it comes to the paperwork of the organization and a lot of that as well. But I also get the chance, for example, speech and workshops and external kind of relations. I also get the chance to share what we're doing. So that's something that I like. Yeah, but day to day, a lot of times look like that. And the best part of working at City Wanderer, I think, for me personally, is because I'm so passionate about education, that it might not be everyone's best part, but for my best part is I get to use my own time to read a lot of different researches about purpose, because this field of cultivating purpose in young people is really not that advanced. As in, a lot of people have talked about career pathways and building young people's skills and all these things, and a lot of research are done on this, but not a lot of research are done on purpose. How do you create a sense of purpose in young people? So and most research are done in foreign countries, so United States and some other places, but mostly in the United States. And so I get to read a lot of these different interesting articles about why someone has a purpose, and a lot of different projects that other people are doing about this topic. And that inspires me, that sparks my joy, because I love having this opportunity to continue to use my job to learn about these things.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I just love your passion towards, you know, these purposes about helping younger generation and, like, you know, helping everyone finding their purpose. It's very rare to find someone of your you know,
So nerdy.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say nerdy. I would say someone's passion to help, you know, others, about helping them, like going step by step, in order for them to find their next step in life. My next question to you, Miss Sunny, is who or what inspired you, besides the book, in the library? Who or what inspired you to join City Wonder?
So I think this brings a different story, because joining City Wanderer was not in the plan. Okay. Like, it was, at first it was not in the plan. But I also want to take this chance and tell everyone that a lot of times life is not about like everything that you planned. Yeah. Like as I study more and as I grew older, now that I'm 30, that you would realize that sometimes the most interesting opportunities and the most beautiful journey that you start usually comes from something that you did not expect to happen. Yeah. And so for me, City Wonder is something like that. when I came back to Taiwan in 2018, I left that place where I took students to Thailand and everything. And I didn't know what my next step was. I just felt like, hey, I can't just stay in the United States forever, because if I want to change education in Taiwan, I need to come back to Taiwan at some point, and I need to learn about things outside of the United States. And so I came back to Taiwan thinking I wanna go to India, I wanna go to Finland, I wanna go to all these different countries to learn about their education system, so I could, gather all the good stuff from all the different countries and then bring it back to Taiwan. That's what I wanted to do in 2018. But I encountered a lot of difficulties because I'm a foreigner. I couldn't, when I want to go to India or Finland or any country to work, there's a lot of like visa difficulty and salary difficulty and all that. And so I couldn't, like every time after I did the interview, they would be like, oh, we love you, but we can't hire you. And so I kept doing that for like 3 months, and I was really, really sad and really, really disappointed, and I didn't know what the next step was. And that's when I saw one of the co-founders of City Wanderer. So there were 6 people who founded City Wanderer at first, and then one of the co-founders I was friends with in 2014. And so it was 2014 when I met that co-founder. And then in 2018, we kept being friends on Facebook. And then 2018, he shared a post about City Wanderer looking for someone to join and to be in charge of the Wandering Challenge and things like that. And so it was definitely an opportunity that I saw, and why I decided to apply and join was a lot about experiential education. So remember, I was talking about these missions, right? All of these missions, they're not inside the classroom. They're not inside the textbook. And me being a teacher for 3 years made me realize that sometimes the most valuable lessons you learn in life are not from books, are from your own personal, are from impactful experiences that you have. And impactful experiences could be difficult, could be interesting, could be a lot of different adjectives that you can use to describe them, but usually they're your own personal experience where you have a lot of reflections and feelings about. That's what pushed you to grow from those experiences. And so I became very interested in experiential education, and that's what I did in Thailand as well, right? Taking students to the cultural things and all that. And so I saw this experiential education component in City Wanderers missions, and it got me really excited. I was like, okay, we can do something with this experiential education. Like, this is cool. It's not just cool, but it can be meaningful and cool. And so, like, that prompted me to join. Yeah.
Looking at where you were, you said you faced a lot of obstacles and stuff like that, like things like getting in your way for pushing forward. What are some of the motivations that motivated you to be a change maker?
I think it's impact. A lot of different people. I heard one. I don't remember where I saw it or heard it, but that left an impression in my mind. I heard one saying, said, if you come to the world and the world is not any different because of you, then why did you come? And that left an impression for me, because I was like, yeah, why am I here on this earth if I'm just here as human, just eat, use resources, and destroy the earth, and I leave? Like, that's all I do. Then what's the point of me coming? Like, God or universe or whoever, I don't know what your religion is, but who put us on earth, and why are we put on earth if we're not here to accomplish something? Then that question made me really reflect and made me really realize that, okay, I want my life on this earth, however long that I live, 30 years, 50 years, 80 years, or however long, is that I leave something, I can leave something and I can make the world a little bit better, whatever that little bit better is, because we can't change everything, but we can try to matter something, to someone, to something. And so I think that's what kept me going, because whether it's education or being in a nonprofit organization, and here right now being in this role as a leader to lead an organization, there's always all kinds of difficulties, and a lot of times I get bogged down too. It's not like I'm always positive. That's not true. And you get bogged down. There are a lot of difficulties, there are a lot of problems that you have to solve, and sometimes you get so frustrated. It's like, why change? And like, sometimes you get to this kind of situation, but why do you keep pushing, right? Why, when you face these type of difficulties, why do you want to keep pushing? For me, that answer is that I still believe that I can make a difference, and I still believe that that thing that I want to achieve, like in the vision where education in Taiwan can be different, I believe that if that happens, it would be great and it would be fantastic. This will be a great place. And that is still something that I believe in and I want to work for. So I think having faith in that, and also wanting to have an impact in this world, is the key thing that kept me going.
So to our audience that's listening, have faith in your purpose. Have faith, guys. Miss Sunny, what is your favorite part of seeing youths thriving through City Wonders? What's your favorite part?
I would say when I see that spark in their eyes. So we talk about you know it when you see someone who's inspired, and their eyes are sparkling with light, talking about something that they believe in, or talking about something that they realize, oh my God, that really strike me as something, and a lot of times, sometimes after Wondering Challenge, right after some missions, I would see that spark when, for example, they talk to somebody and that really impacted their mind, and saying, oh my God, like there's this person doing this thing, and I never met someone like that before, and it inspired them. And or sometimes they found an issue that they really care about, and they started having this internal struggle about, wow, like this world should not be like this. I want to do something to make this world to change this certain issue. And that's, like, when that type of realization occur in the mind, you see that eyes sparking. And we also have a few because to develop your own purpose. So not that many people really already are very into their purpose already, but a few of our alumni who, for example, from 2014 all the way to 2018 and now 2021, there are a few examples, for example, that are already doing something that they believe in. There was someone who participated in Wondering Challenge in 2014 and continued to look for what she cares about. And in 2018, she realized that she wanted to voice for the incarcerated people, like the people who the people who came out, the past incarcerated people, so who left jail, who left prison, and who wants to do better, who wants to do better things in the society, and not go to to start over and not go back to the old pathways and the gangs or whatever. But the society a lot of times give them the negative label. So she wants to change that problem, because her own relative, someone was like that, and she realized it's so not fair. So it's so unfair sometimes when they want to change, and society is not giving them a chance. So she started an organization a nonprofit organization in 2018. She realized she wanted to do that, and she started an organization in 2019. And 2020, finally the organization was set in stone and started operating. And I became one of their board member as well. And now in 2021, they have their own website. They are doing a few different projects. Like having like, they don't have a full-time staff yet, but they have like 3 or 4 part-time staff all doing their projects together. So that's something, that is something that really made my heart full. Is you realize something, you don't have to do education, you don't have to do it yet, but you need to find something that you're passionate about, that you find meaningful about, and that drives you every day.
Wow. And where is this organization located?
It's called it's in Taipei, and it's called Dark People in the Room.
Dark People in the Room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the past incarcerated people.
So, Miss Sunny, another question. It might see. I hope you can give some enlightenment for not only the younger generation, but also for people who are a little bit older. Like myself, who are trying to find their purpose, or moving towards finding our purpose, young and old. What advice do you have for us?
I will say, one is go out and try a lot of different things. Like, don't get out of your comfort zone. Like, if every day, whatever you are in contact with, is there something that you can do differently and outside of your original way of doing? And go participate in some different events or different organizations, different activities that you've never done, to try to push yourself outside of that comfort zone as you try to get more different things inside your brain. Because how we find purpose is, there are 2 things. One is you need to have enough database in your head, like enough things in the world. If remember, so in Chinese there's this little, I think maybe everyone has heard it, I don't know if it's only in Chinese, but this frog inside a well. So if a frog is living inside a well, and it's at the bottom and looking out the well is this big, right? And so the frog only sees the sky as this big. And when the frog is trying to look for what the world is look like, the world is this big. But when the frog tries to climb outside of that well, it would realize, oh my God, the sky is not just this circle, it's like huge, and this whole world is huge. Then a lot of times that gives us way more opportunity to look for what we're passionate about and look for what might spark us. And in Taiwan, usually the case is, because we are studying all the time, all we see is this. And we don't see that there are different ways of living, different ways of professions, and how backpacking could be a type of profession as well. And how, like, all we see is what we see right now. Well, you want to be a YouTuber, I guess, and you want to be, that's all. Yeah, that's all you can imagine. If we can expand that imagination, and you see that there are people who are climbing trees is a profession. There are tree climbers that are professions, and there are outdoor education. There are people who lead boats in they drive little boats to lead big boats as a how would you call it, explorer?
Navigator?
Yeah, navigator. Yeah, as a navigator, and they earn a lot of money, and they're also always on the sea. And if you love the ocean, that is a great opportunity to, right? That's a very different, when you don't have enough, when you don't see enough, and you don't experience enough, then you don't have enough database in your mind to see, hey, that might be something I'm passionate about, and that could spark me. So one is to go out and explore. I'm sorry, I took a whole long way to tell you why you need to explore and to step out of your comfort zone. But one is to do that, step out of your comfort zone, try different things, new things, anything, even the things you're scared of, especially the things that you're scared of. when you try things that you're scared of, you gain way more, and you grow way more. And the second thing is to talk to yourself, because one thing is to have enough database in your mind, in your head, and imagination. But in today's world, a lot of times we don't know ourselves enough, and we don't communicate, have conversations with ourselves enough, that when we are faced with 100 choices or 1,000 choices, you're paralyzed. You don't know how to make choices. And the reason why you don't know how to make choices is because you don't talk to yourself. You don't know you don't have the habit. A lot of times we need to build the habit to talk to ourselves, to realize what we truly want. What does your heart tell you? And sometimes people tell me, my heart doesn't talk to me. then you need to start talking to your heart. Then you need to start talking and doing journal and diary and all these things, and try different ways to get to know yourself, and have conversations with yourself. Only through that, then you can connect the external and the internal. External is to gain more imagination, all these choices, but don't let these choices paralyze you. It's inside through those choices you find about yourself. You find what you're looking for and what you truly feel like, oh, this is where I want to go. You would feel it when you have more of that conversation with yourself. Yeah.
Miss Sunny, I have our last question.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So that's a hope. I will hope. I'm hoping after 5 years, the organization is going to be stable enough that I could just, someone could take over what I'm doing, and I could just go around to the world. Remember, I said I wanna go to India. I want to go to all these places. So I wanna be able to at that moment go to have someone be in charge of the organization. I don't need to be in charge of organization forever, and just travel to India, travel to different places to continue for more exploration, to see I still want to see different education in the world. And so that is still part of what I want to do. And I definitely want to live in India for a whole year, because that is something, somehow I believe India is somewhere where you can touch your soul, and that's what I really want to do.
I can see that even though you love your position as being a CEO, you are passionate and you cannot wait to be back on the field.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, you cannot wait to interact with these students. And now this is our audience Q&A. So if you have any questions for Miss Sunny, you can write them in the comment section, or you can ask her personally if you like. I do believe we have one question here already, Miss Sunny.
Yes.
This person said, how do you get funds if City Wonder is a nonprofit organization?
How come I didn't see the question? But I see it. So nonprofit, the interesting thing is we are a nonprofit organization, but we don't rely very much on donation. So the operation of our organization, we collaborate with corporations, companies, businesses, more than getting donations. So we would hold events and activities for young people, where the corporation collaborate with us and provide funding for us to do that. Does that kind of make sense? So yeah, so for them, it's their corporate social responsibility, and they could say, hey, I'm helping young people, and I'm doing education and things like that. And for us, it's them providing funding, and it gives us enough. Okay, a few things. We have projects other than Wondering Challenge, and those projects are collaborated with corporations. And when they give us funding to do those projects, those funding would have enough left over for us to do Wondering Challenge and for us to do other projects that we want to create ourselves. So that's kind of the main idea.
Okay, thank you very much. And our next question, we have a question from iPhone and one from Matt. Let's go with iPhone first because I saw his hand was up first, and then we go to Mr. Matt.
All right. Hello?
Yes.
Hi, we can hear you.
Hi, hey, Clinton. Well, if I want to be formal, it's Dr. Clint Lewis on the other end. However, hey, Sonny, thank you so much for your speech. What I would like to ask is, I know you mentioned several different things about what your NGO is doing. However, I would like to know how you guys measure your results to know that you are actually making an impact.
Great question. So remember I was showing you all that little graph thing about growth. We definitely, the biggest thing that we can do right now is before Wondering Challenge and after Wondering Challenge, we measure, we do a pre-survey and a post-survey, because things like these are very qualitative. It's difficult. It's not like I'm giving you a test and you have to answer with the correct answer. So we use self-evaluation. Before the Wondering Challenge, they would answer some questions about, oh, I believe that I know about myself, my own interest and my passion. Or they would answer, I have enough courage to take action towards something, or I have whatever. We will have all these statements for them to rate themselves. So pre-survey and post-survey, and what we see is usually after the 3 weeks, their growth definitely is, their growth are statistically significant, and not just random, we didn't make the numbers up. They do have a lot of growth. However, for the past 2 or 3 years, we started to think about how long do these growths last. It's like when you're at school, you can learn something and you retain it for about a month. But after 1 month, you forget everything about it. Then so we started thinking, how can we know the long-term impact? And I don't have an answer for that yet. We haven't started measuring that yet. But what we start to do is we want to, that's about City Wonders' future. As in this year, we want to start creating this alumni group. People who have participated in Wondering Challenge and our other projects in the past. We want to invite them back, and we want to create some little community where we can continue to follow up with them and see, hey, are you pursuing something you believe in, or have you found your purpose yet? If not, then what can we do, and what more can we help, and all these things. Because right now, for these activities and projects, all we can do is to measure the moment. But later on, we still care about that, and that's what we're starting to do. I hope this answered your question. Yeah.
And our next question goes to Mr. Matt.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much, Sunny. As a fellow teacher, I love everything you're saying. It's awesome. I have like 10 questions, but I'll try to put it at 2. So first, like, who are your like target students, or how do you like decide who gets to come participate?
Okay, I'll start answering. So main students are college students. So 18 to 22 are the biggest group. There are some 16 to 18-year-olds who would come and join the organization, the challenge as well. And some, from 22 to 30 would still come and do our missions and all that. But the main group is college students. Okay. And then we don't do any selection. So whoever, for Wondering Challenge, different projects are different, like some other projects with corporations are different, but for Wondering Challenge alone, whoever signs up gets to participate. You do have a registration fee. In the past, it's 500 NT. But for 3 weeks, 500 NT is really not that much. in this year, we're starting to ask, we realize that this is below our, what would you call it? It is not economically sound. And so we are trying to raise it a little bit. But yeah, but you pay for the registration fee and you can join. So there's not selection. We don't,
Right.
filter people.
This isn't my second question, but just a quick one. I want to know more about the other projects, but I don't think we have time. So
Yeah.
can we read about that like on the website or something?
Yes, on the website. It's all in Chinese though.
Translate it.
Yes.
All right. And then my second question, I think you can see most of your audience here is international students. And for me, like I plan to live in Taiwan forever. So I'm always like keeping my eyes open for other opportunities. So do you know, like, do you guys plan to have like some kind of opportunity for international like teachers or other people to become a part of your team? So like, you know, because I think giving Taiwanese people, students, like outside foreign perspective, you know, kind of goes in line with your whole mission, you know?
Are you saying like for people to join the staff, or are
Right.
you saying
Yeah.
to do something for
Yes.
for international students? So it's very interesting. If you want to, like, I haven't thought about that before, but I like this idea. I do believe that purpose, especially when we talk about purpose, it's not a Taiwanese thing. It's a whole world young people thing. You know, the whole world's young people. I think finding a purpose and something meaningful in their life is a lifelong question for any culture. And so I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think it is very interesting. However, I think for foreigner to join as a staff, they need to speak enough Chinese, because not everyone on our staff can speak well English, and so that would create some process. But I wouldn't be opposed to that. I like that. We are looking for people. We are looking for full time. Yes, we are looking for 2 full-time people right now. So that is true.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question, Mr. Matt. We have one question first from the comment section, and then we'll go to Mr. Clint and then Miss Priya, and then one more question from the comment. I'm just going based on who asked first. So the first one is, how do you deal with COVID situation?
So yeah, very interesting question. This year, so for we have another project called a Career Diary with insurance company called Guotai. And so Career Diary is for young people to explore different career fields. So in order to find their purpose, it's one way for them to know what are some different fields and industries out there. And so Career Diary, this is the 4th year that we hold Career Diary as a project and program. And because of COVID, we switched the whole thing to online using GatherTown. And so in the past, Career Diary has more of like, visiting a specific office and some different, how would you call it? Professionals. I'm trying to translate the Chinese into English, so it took me a while. So you visit some professionals and you through interviews and through shadowing, you learn about what they're doing, and you figure out if it's something you might want to do or something you're not passionate about. And so that's how it was done in the past, offline. But this year, because of COVID, we couldn't do that, and it was held in July, and July was in the middle of the whole situation. Yeah. And so we did a 1 week entirely online camp. So it was going to be like an offline camp, but we can do that. So online camp for 6 days, and over these 6 days, using GatherTown, we built 60 different offices for the people, for our students to visit these offices and try to do some experiential stuff as well. For example, there's this nonprofit organization doing CPR, doing emergency kind of training for people. Then what he did was we had 7 students paired with him, And so he prepared 7 mannequins, the Annies, the different Annies mannequin, and sent it to students' home. And students were operating on that mannequin on the ground through webcam. And because the mannequin has like this digital chip in them, so the professional, the founder of that organization, he could see from his end on the system who is pressing too hard and killing the person, and who is doing so slow that it's barely having any effect, and he could tell them, hey, you need to push harder. Okay, B, you need to do something. And so that's something that was very cool, and we were very, very happy that he was willing to try to do that. So that's one way that we adjust. But for Wondering Challenge this year, because it happened in November, so we didn't do it online. We just did separated for not too many people to be in the same room at the same time.
Where there's a will, there's a way, right, Miss Sunny?
Yes,
we'll get it
yes,
done.
Exactly.
And the next question goes to Mr. Lewis. Is he still with us? No? Okay.
I'm right here.
Okay.
Yeah, Sunny, thanks again once more for your response earlier. I got booted out the system, so I didn't hear the ending part of your response, but I get the point what you're saying. Basically what I have to say now is not a question, but a comment per se, because finding one's passion is, for me, an individual journey in which one has to take. So the fact that you're trying to help others to find a purpose or the passion in life, is commendable. However, I would, because one cannot just stick to one possible thing and say, okay, this is what probably I'm passionate about. This is my purpose. Because as we go through life phases, we are passionate at some stage in life about one thing, and then that might change or evolve or grow. So your program, is there like a lot of multifaceted activities or events that is done so one can tap into the different aspects in which they might be interested in?
So let me take that question. What I can say is there are, like I said, there are researches done on this, and it's interesting. There's a Stanford professor called William Damon, and he found that he did a research on American young people, and he found that of all the young people in from 15 to 29-year-old, only 20% are someone with a sense of purpose, knowing exactly what they want to do and why they want to do it, what kind of value would this create for the world. But the rest of 80%, there are 30% of people who are trying a lot of different things, who have a lot of different interests. And it could be like, oh, they're passionate about this and passionate about that and passionate about that. But they haven't found that one thing that they want to dig in deep, and they want to spend, you could say, spend your whole life trying to do this thing. And that's 30% of the people. And then there's 25% of the people who kind of know what they want to do, but they lack action. They're always talking about it. They never do something about it. And so, the dreamers. And then there's 25% who never thought about this question before. And so in this research, what I will say is we do have a lot of students that we are encountering right now who know about the idea of finding your own purpose, but who are still exploring a lot of different interests right now. And because the research is not that much, and right now what we are trying about figuring out, what does it take when you have 5 different interests or 5 different passions, if you call it, what does it take? What do we need to do to help you hone in on that one? How do you know that is the one? And how do you figure that out? I don't have the exact answer yet, but that's what we're trying to figure out.
Yes, thank you so much for that. But that's what basically I was getting at, because you have students there or persons there of a different age range. And while for me personally, it's a good thing that you figure out that particular purpose you wanna do with the rest of your life. I still think that you still, an individual or a child or someone growing up should actually go through the different phases so that they can know at the end this is exactly what they want to do. Because you don't want to zoom into something and that's not what they want to do. Because then that will just create a lot more stress down the line. So that's why I asked the question if there is like different things being done at your NGO where students can explore the options and then make their mind up to decide, okay, probably this is what I want to focus more on now. Maybe I'm not 100% sure, but let me try this, basically. Yeah.
Right now we don't have, right now we don't have like, because right now we have a few different projects, but we can't do 100 different things. And so I like the idea that you're proposing, but what it would take is leverage. I need to connect with various different fields. Not that we have to do it ourselves, but we need to connect more resources. That's what I'm thinking.
You can outsource different.
We can't just all do it alone. It's cross section of fields.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So thank you so much once more.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for your question, Mr. Lewis. Due to time, we will quickly go through Miss Priya's question, and then the last two, and then we will continue with our agenda for today. Miss Priya?
Okay, so my question is that as someone who is graduating and has figured out that they find meaning in helping the world, and that could be in terms of people or animals or children or anything, like what should be their first step to get started? And should it be full-time? Should they put all their effort into that, or should it be a little bit is fine, or how should they go about it?
So Priya, right? Are you asking for yourself?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Okay. So then let me ask you, Priya, what is this one thing that you're passionate about?
I feel that whenever I'm helping someone, I think I'm happy, like that's the only time I'm happy, or like I find that I'm doing something meaningful and I want to like that. I would pick helping someone over anything. So
okay. And what's your major?
Computer science.
Computer science.
Yeah.
What I will say right now is if you don't entirely hate computer science, you could still use your computer science skill for a first job, but use all your spare time, weekend and after work time and something, and get in touch with 2 or 3 organizations that are first frontline service type of organization. It could be rescuing stray dogs or something. It could be helping. It could be education related. It could be helping old people. In Taiwan, there are way more and more elderly generations that need help, and so there are a lot of different, like, if you like helping people, this is a good sign. However, if you haven't found exactly that one thing, right? Helping people can be a lot of different forms. But as you continue to get in touch with more ways or more platforms of how other people are helping people, then it gives you more opportunity to realize, oh, hey, there are organizations like this that are helping Southeast Asia migrant workers in Taiwan. There are organizations like this who are helping homeless people. There are organizations like this who are helping bullying issues in school. And then when you get involved in all these, I feel way more whenever I get in touch with the kids who get bullied. It breaks my heart way more than the Southeast Asian workers. And then you start to, zoom in a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I would say sometimes, like I said, life is very interesting. It goes in different ways. So maybe as you continue to be volunteers in different organizations, they would have job openings coming up, and even nonprofit organizations need systems, and computer science could come in handy for some of these nonprofit organizations or social enterprises. And when you found that, like, you can, you don't, your job or your skill could be something that makes this to help this organization better.
Thank you very much. That's very, yeah.
No problem.
Thank you very much, Priya. And for our last two questions, the first person, Mr. Leon Ash, he said, "Thank you for inviting me, Annalie." You're welcome. Question for Miss Sunny. Have you considered creating new groups or connections from other countries and then doing like exchange programs for people involved?
We have, but it's difficult. That's why in 2019, we brought Wondering Challenge to Japan, to Malaysia, to different places. But for exchange to happen, it involves a lot of complexities and also a lot of funding. So for now, it is more, we're not thinking about like how City Wanderer has to host an exchange, but we're thinking when this Wondering Challenge, when we have this whole thing more figured out, maybe after 3 years, we would, have this strategy of, really spreading. Right now, we still want to, like I said, figure out what it takes to hone in and what it takes, and all these methodology. We want to build this methodology stronger. And after we built this methodology to a very stable point, we want to spread. And that spreading meaning there would be City Wanderer City Japan, City Wanderer Asia, India, City Wanderer South Africa, City Wanderer United States, City Wanderer all different places. And once we have a global, once we spread to enough places and there's like a global network, then different possibilities could happen. But we're not gonna try to do like what travel agents do right now, like, oh, well, we're gonna host and having exchange happen, and that's way too complicated for us to venture in right now. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that answer, Miss Sunny. The next question says, "Hi, it's good to know that you want to explore India. In India, which place do you want to live? It's a mixture of so many languages and cultures. In exploring education system again, it would be a large scale. There are different board system as well. For example, SSC or ICSC, city or country."
There are a lot of things I do not understand in there. But I will say I want to explore India at first. When I wanted to explore India is in Bangalore, because that's where a lot of innovation is happening. I believe it's Bangalore, where there's like a little Silicon Valley and a lot of NGO or educational innovation, and innovative education nonprofits in there. And languages, I'm so not sure, because I know there's way too many languages, and I know that's the traditional education system in India is also very rigid, just like Taiwan, and very much test oriented and all these things. And that's why it's interesting to see what kind of innovation is happening, because it's in some way similar to Taiwan. But other questions, I haven't had the chance to dig into the board system and all these things, so I cannot answer those questions.
Thank you very much, Miss Sunny, and for answering that question. And now we will continue with our agenda, call to action. Miss Sunny, before we end off today's segment, I would like to ask you to can you kindly share your social media, both Facebook, Instagram, and website? And if you would mind, can you share, oh yeah, you're already sharing your email with
I
us,
put my email in there. Mhm.
so that we may be able to, follow you on social media and keep up with what City Wonder is doing.
For
And,
sure.
we would like to join some of your events sometime,
For sure.
Power to
For sure.
Change and City Wonder joining together. And
Yes.
before we end off today, is there any final words that you have for us? Any last minute or advice or anything else that you would like to bless us with today?
Let me think. I will say that it is truly a pleasure to be here today and to hear so many questions. Because having these questions made me realize that yes, people are responding to this, because Taiwanese students don't ask a lot of questions. If you realize that, and so yes, this is awesome. And what I will leave with is that always listen to your heart. That would be, it's not like some slogan or anything, but it's something from my own personal life. When you listen to your heart, a lot of times other people outside the world might tell you, oh, that's not a wise choice, or this decision might lead to it's not economically sound, it's blah, 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 all these things. But when you stay true to your heart, that's how you make sure you don't regret on the choices you make.
Thank you very much for that very, inspirational speech that you have given us, and for giving us so much, words of encouragement, and helping us, some of us, especially on this chat, to figure out some of the things that we are trying to figure out in life right now. And also to our audience, if you find your purpose in life, always follow your heart. And if you want to help us by, protecting the environment and helping us fight our fight here at Power to Change, I'm asking you to kindly, scan our QR code. We have it both in English and in Chinese, where you can fill out the form and help us to ban the use of using paper in Taiwan. And we can go electronically by saving the trees and helping us to, promoting LED lights to families and homes who actually need it. I want to thank you so much, everyone. Thank you very much, Miss Sunny. And thank you to our audience. And also keep in mind that this is not only the first, but we have many, 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 many more Power to Change talk series. So follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and also you can check out our website, where we will be sharing more talk show series with more people who are here to encourage you in your path, and also to encourage you in your educational journey and different things in life. So keep up with Power to Change, and also City Wonder, Miss Sunny Yang. Thank you so, so much. And this is our flyers for our upcoming events. I want to thank each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for joining today's segment. Thank you. But before you go, can we kindly take a photo with each and every one of you guys today? We ask you kindly if you can turn on your cameras. Okay, so our IT technician, Miss Christina, will be taking our photo today. Mr. Shania, BCL, Aileen, Mr. Ash. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna count 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you have a great rest of the day or night. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sunny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
They might be out in different places at night.
Yes, we have some guests from Belize and some from the States.
Oh, wow. So that they're not only here in Taiwan.
No, ma'am. I invited.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's open to anyone. Feel free to invite anyone you want. It's
Yeah.
not exclusive.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is very,
No
very cool.
limits.
And you should, yeah, I really like this idea. And maybe sometime later, Power to Change and City Wonder really can do something, because I was very surprised when I heard Enmar saying that Power to Change, the idea behind Power to Change is to find your purpose. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? That's what we're doing. And so it's very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good.
definitely. And it's a good community.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Take care.
bye,
Bye.
Sunny.
Bye.
And Matt, if you have other questions, feel free to email me and all that.
Thank you.
Right, I'm gonna wait until everybody leaves. So I'm the IT
Okay,
crew today.
now, yeah. She's asking us to all leave now. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So people are not leaving. I mean, the people here that I know these people. All right, we can have a meeting.
Christina's like, no, we're going. Bye.
We can have a meeting.
I gotta check out my hotel room. So see you guys later.
All right. see
Bye,
you.
Matt. Bye.
Bye everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye bye.
All right.